Hello, good morning, Prospera. How are you guys doing? Awesome. All right, so coffee is kicked in. Getting there, I guess. Um, my name is Yesh. I'm the founder of Grama. Oh, sorry, I've been moving in this one. All right. So, pro-human tech in pro-human places. That's going to be my talk for the next 12 minutes, and what I mean by that and what we are doing with Grama. Let me start with how the world is today. We're living through a period of incredible technologies coming together. All of them arriving almost at once. Feels pretty powerful. So you have like your drone swarms, which can be completely autonomous, can be summoned at one place, by just one person. And you have consumer genomics, right? You can spit into a tube anywhere in the world, ship it off, and they can tell you your entire history of your ancestors and your things about your health. But the data is on their servers. It's been subpoenaed. It's been leaked. Like your core private identity is just someone's data point at this point in time. And on the bottom, you have the smart city infrastructure that, it's amazing for, rapid responses, identifying crises, and other things like that. But the number of sensors required for that is incredible, right? They just keep going up and up, and they could end up becoming a surveillance node. And then on the top right, we have the godlike intelligence that we have been summoning with the transformer architecture. Like all of these technologies accelerating, which is so incredible to see. But it's also important to understand like what are the kinds of risks that some of these technologies might bring. So when I first saw this, when Neuralink implanted the chip, I almost had tears in my eye. Like it was so incredible to see, like Neuralink, do this telepathy product, which could enable people to talk to any kinds of computers, right? And now you have all of them playing games. They started with one. They call them neural knots, and they're at 21 patients today. But let's look at what's also happening, right? So a group of researchers in 2023 showed that, like you can actually reconstruct near perfect images by just reading the brain activity using fMRI. So the fMRI machines, for those of you who don't know, have not been in one, looks like the one on the left. It's a room-sized machine. I'm super glad that we haven't been able to miniaturize that tech yet. And this is a paper from 2024, shows that we can use rather a smaller, a different kind of device called MEG. You can see that person sitting there in blue color light. You can almost predict it. This is low fidelity, yes, but it's almost real time, right? And the size of variables, as you can see with the person wearing, is reducing day by day, right? So it means that we could one day be reading these thoughts of like from our brain activity very, very soon. And we are almost everybody is familiar with the Apple Vision Pro, right? It's always collecting data, looking into our eyes, and it's probably the most penetrated BCI brain-computer interface in the market today. Just yesterday, or maybe like a couple of days ago, which was timely for this talk, Meta released another foundational model, their Tribe V2, which showed that, okay, now you don't need any device. You could potentially just have, predict how the brain would respond for different sorts of stimuli, right? You can see the actual response on the left, and then what the model prediction is on the right. So incredible, right? This is great, NeuroAC. But who owns your brain waves when you have these things, when you start interacting with them on a daily basis, right? Can your employer ask you to wear one in your workplace so you can be this productivity tool for them? Can your insurance company be based on like what sorts of things that you're thinking about. Will we be stopped at the borders in the airports to see what we're thinking? And let's look at the robots act phase, right? So we have almost, many big companies now trying to build humanoid robots. Some of these, say, are from the body that has Tesla, Optimus. It could put your kids to sleep. It would probably know, everything about you and be incredible in terms of productivity and making our lives better. But it's also that you have terms of service agreement, that could be changed at any point in time. And you have a subscription, so one day they could decide they could just stop that. So that's one future. Or the other one, you can have open source software and open source hardware, right? Something that you can truly own, and nobody's able to shut it off. So different kinds of acceleration that we can have from there. Let's look at BioAct. There's a lot of biotech people here, which is also great. So the graph on the top shows that the DNA synthesis cost has been coming down quite a lot. I think somewhere around being 10 euros per base pair is now like probably just a few cents. And now we have things like AlphaFold, which are these amazing foundational models through AI, sort of showing that we can design functional viral genomes almost to an incredible degree. Which is all super, right? Like we want that acceleration to be there. We want that kind of, we want to solve all sorts of diseases in the world. But okay, like what do we do about pandemic prevention, right? Once these technologies are available, it could also be used for engineered pathogens, right? So like who's building the decentralized biosurveillance that would be required? Right, and can we get to the holy grail of point of care manufacturing? Like wherever you are, you can just print your own medicine. I think that's possible too. But who is also building privacy-preserving biotech? Right, like can we have rather when you do your DNA synthesis, which is more private and secure, going towards the future of something like sovereign health intelligence? So each of these things that you see here have the same kind of, similarities between them, right? So instead of like it being distributed architecture, mostly single point of control, and instead of us having, say, no defensive layer, we can think about the solution spaces that we operate in each of these domains to build in, defensive kinds of solution sets inside, right? It could be, privacy by design by default. It could be opt-in by, design and defaults, and also, have these things where capability doesn't just come into one centralizing force. I think yesterday, even in the panel, many people alluded to the fact that superintelligence is centralizing, and we can try and design things which are more distributed, more decentralized, more defensive. So with all this promise of abundance, we have, it's a moment that feels like a little bit strange, right? Because many, we have spent a lot of years as humanity, tens of thousands of them, sort of trying to outsource our cognitive labor, right? And we are sort of finally succeeding. But what is the reward for that succeeding is? It's a question, like what do humans do now? What is the human project when the machines can handle all the thinking? These are like things that are happening today, right? So extraordinary capability, but sort of an existential crisis for humans, right? It's the same technology with sort of like coming all together, producing this abundance, but also producing this crisis. So Acceleration is great. Liberty Act is great. Like it's a vector, right? So like it sort of shows that what is the direction of your net force that is going towards, right? I think this summit and Prospera is like that net force sort of going towards a particular place that we think is much better. Right, and DAC is this concept which Vitalik coined, sort of saying, okay, we need to also think about these parallel kinds of things that would also accelerate. So the magnitude can remain the same, the attitude can remain the same, but it's just that what we're going to do about it. Yeah, so we've had this philosophy sort of like we have the precedents to do it. When you looked at Bitcoin, the same kind of properties when it started, money was centralized, proprietary, fragile, and we were able to make it more open, permissionless, and unstoppable. And like now we have Bitcoin districts, like our previous speaker mentioned, right? And Ethereum did that for computation. But can we do that for biotech, neurotech, and can others? So I think everything I've said so far, right? So like most of you have thought about it in some form. Like these are the risks that you sort of live with. And I want to sort of also bring it to the physical aspect of these things, right? People are now self-organizing into building these kinds of technologies, but the places for them do not exist yet. Right, they live in cities rather scattered in very different communities, very different conferences, etc. Right. So the missing piece is to sort of bring together all of these people at one place. So if you want to build, like, say, privacy-preserving biotech, you need to have cryptographers talk to people doing biology, right? And the same thing's applicable for all other places. So a new type of village, which I call pro-human places, and like I guess the infrastructure, like Prospera as an example, like Infinita as an example here, a place that feels a bit more connected to what does human mean, right? Like have permaculture design and things like that. So we did that. We did an experiment, sort of bringing in for like 6 weeks, 150 people together who stayed together, co-living and co-building. We brought in cryptographers, AI people, local politicians, governance folks from India, everybody together, and we had like 3 research papers come out of this collaboration. In fact, today morning when I woke up, I got a message by somebody who was a fellow who said because of ZuGrama, he was able to find peers who now is going to continue his research in University of Cambridge. That made my day, and I'm beaming, right? And like 2 startups went on to raise greater than $1 million. So here's the master plan of like what I'm trying to do next is, okay, like there is a proof of concept that all of these community members were able to come. Like I was just like the dancing video guy who was shouting around like 1 year ago, but now we have those builders, right? And then bring these builders in place, give them access to these labs, biotech, hardware, etc., and wrap them into a village setting. And we are building it bottom up. So to borrow some terminologies that's being used, we are sort of starting with L2s and L3s, and then building a network of those things together. We're starting with like these nodes that you can see, 2 in India and 1 in Austin, Texas. And I think once these DAC kinds of technologies are built, you would need a jurisdiction with special zones for that. So pro-human tech in pro-human places, you can support. Today, you can go check it out. grama.town/citizenship. You can become a member. Thank you.